Members from both the private and public sectors took advantage of the opportunity to learn more about human rights policies and laws through a series of workshops held in the territory from July 4th to the 8th. The meetings took place on Tortola as well as Virgin Gorda and Anegada and were specifically designed to enhance the capacity in the Virgin Islands to effectively address human rights issues using a multi-sectoral approach. Acting Attorney General Baba Aziz spoke of the significance of the Human Rights Workshop, which opened on the 4th of July, the same day as the U.S. Declaration of Independence, which spoke to issues of human rights.
What a great coincidence is it that we are having this program starting on the 4th day of July 2011. I am sure everybody is aware that this date coincides with the American Declaration of Independence on 4th July 1776. I'm sure there are many here who recall that great quote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." I think this is a good starting point for a training program on human rights.
Facilitators for the workshop were Selina Goulbourne, academic lecturer and secretary for the Commonwealth Regional Association, Lindy Coetzee, national director of street law in South Africa, and senior lecturer at the Nelson Mandela University in South Africa, Stephanie Ageri, attorney at law, who represents the Human Rights Initiative. The facilitators covered a host of topics regarding human rights as it pertains to the Constitution, as well as the various ways that these rights are infringed upon on a daily basis and how these rights must be safeguarded in every institution.
At this particular point, with what we've done in the British Overseas Territories, is to keep the momentum going. There is an obvious need, because your constitution is your most important law of the country, to promote advocacy and awareness, because if people do not know what their rights are, then they won't be able to identify when rights are being abused and be able to make use of the remedies that are provided in your constitution in order to take on an action and to remedy an infringement of human rights. So definitely advocacy and awareness on human rights constantly, human rights education, inclusion into the school curriculum, so that we can create critical citizens that can engage critically with issues in the future.
Coetzee explained that although putting human rights awareness in the school curriculum is important, it is even more important to deal with the topic on all other levels of society as well. And she spoke about some of the areas that were touched during the workshop, including society's responsibility to human rights issues, lobbying, and human rights awareness.
We've spoken and trained civil society, looking at advocating and awareness and what is the responsibility of civil society with regard to the protection and promotion of human rights, looking at lobbying, looking at advocacy and awareness training. This afternoon, for example, we looked at the role of the media within human rights. So it really affects all sectors of society, and it has to be institutionalized, I think, within the whole community. It isn't sufficient just to put it in the school curriculum now, because what happens to out-of-school youth that have not been exposed to it, or adults that have not been exposed to it? So you have to deal with it at all levels of society.
Coetzee said it is hoped that the entire Virgin Islands will now consider looking at their international obligation and formulate a national action plan for human rights within the region, which currently does not exist, as well as awareness advocacy campaigns on human rights.